Welcome to Good Dog TV, bringing you the latest dog news and entertainment from the American Kennel Club. I'm Marissa Sarback. Thank you so much for joining us today. Today is our Ask the Expert edition with AKC's own managing editor of the AKC Gazette, and he knows all about what is going on at AKC. This is Bud Boccone. Bud, Happy New Year. Thanks for joining us.
Happy New Year to you too, Marissa, and I'm happy to be here.
It's always great to see you, and we want to talk 2019 because AKC has so much going on this year. Let's start off first with the Museum of the Dog, because that is really the buzz right now. I mean, it's in the media, it's everywhere.
There's been a media blitz all week long. I saw something in The Guardian just yesterday or this morning about the AKC Museum. It is everywhere, and I can tell you, having taken a few walkthroughs through the facility, I think people are going to be impressed. It's a beautiful place. Before you even discuss the art in the place, the building itself, the architecture, a multi-level thing with a grand ceiling going up to the top level and a library up there at the top of the museum, it's quite a lovely place.
It's very exciting, and we actually are taking Facebook questions live on air with you right now, Bud. We do have our first one. Matthew is wondering, what are you most looking forward to in the Museum of the Dog?
Well, of course, I'm looking forward to broadcasting for AKC TV from the Museum of the Dog, most of all personally. But I think what I'm looking forward to is bringing this amazing canine art to a vast new audience. It's simply the locale, 101 Park Avenue, right across the street from Grand Central Terminal. Crossroads of the world stuff. People from all over the world seeing this stuff for the first time. It had been in St. Louis for many years previously, and they did a nice job there. But it ain't New York. You're not getting just the sheer foot traffic from all over the world, all over the country, to the front door of this place. And that, to me, is going to be the most exciting thing. Because I know this collection, so it's no surprise to me in the collection. The surprise is going to be what a whole new audience of people of all ages is going to see when they see it. I want to see their faces.
And what can we expect when you go to the museum? A lot of art, I'm assuming, a lot of history, anything interactive?
Oh, yes. Yes, it's a beautiful blend of the old and the new. There's a lot of beautiful traditional dog painting. Some of the great painting masters of the canine form are represented. It's really a fascinating, wonderful collection if you like that old school painting. But there's also all sorts of newfangled exhibits, touchscreen exhibits, and an app that you can get around the museum with. Kind of match yourself to a breed exhibits, and I had the honor of writing some of the text that went into some of these interactive exhibits, and I think the kids will be taken in by that. But I hope that they also stick around to look at this gorgeous stuff that's surrounding them. I hope they're not all into the screen like kids so often are these days, but I think once they look up, they're going to see all this beautiful stuff and start asking questions. And this is a very fun way to educate young people about the breeds and about what they were bred to do.
It's so exciting. I mean, so many people, I've seen the buzz about this, and we're still getting questions here on Facebook. Helen is wondering, is that where they are having the dog show? I'm not sure which one she means specifically, but will they be having any events or dog shows there?
Well, no, not an actual show, but certainly all sorts of events will be held in the museum going forward. It looks to me like a versatile place where you can have a book event or an exhibition of an artist or some kids group coming in to do some educational interactive stuff. But the big dog show is, of course, Westminster in New York City, and the museum is opening February the 8th. That's just in time for Westminster weekend. And if by that she means the dog show, yes, we will be open when people are in town to see the Westminster Kennel Club dog show.
Just another reason to come to New York and visit AKC?
Well, it turns into a doggy village every February, and the AKC Museum this year is going to be right in the center of that doggy village.
And we have Meet the Breeds also that we'll be doing live from the beginning of Westminster. So we have really so much going on.
That's right. Meet and Compete is coming up, and I'll be there. You'll be there. The whole gang will be there. The whole AKC TV gang will be there, and that's tied in with the Westminster Kennel Club weekend too. It's going to be a whirlwind. It's going to be a whirlwind. Meet and Compete, the show itself, the opening of the museum. If you love dogs, be in New York City this February.
This is the place to be.
Absolutely. It's going to be a party. It's going to be great.
Awesome. And Christina is wondering, will there be a charge to enter the Museum of the Dog, or is it a suggested donation?
That I am not sure of.
Okay.
The door has not yet opened. This is not, I should understand, this is not the official AKC TV pitch of the AKC Museum. This is one man's opinion.
Yes, but we
of a guy who
value
walked
your
around.
opinion, Bud. You know everything
Well,
about what goes on. That's why we have you here.
Well, what I don't know, I'll make up. You could always count on that, Marissa.
All right, that's all right. Not everything then. All right, well, Bud, we'd love to move on and talk about the new breed that is coming to the AKC to be recognized, the Azawak. Tell me a little bit about that. This is big.
Yes, periodically the AKC admits a new breed into its stud book. This year it is the Azawak, which is a long-legged hound, kind of built along greyhound specifications.
There we go. We're getting a nice good look at them.
Yep. Long-legged hound, very lean, very tough, very fast.
Are they related to any other breed? Because they seem to resemble quite
sure.
a few.
These are what you would call sighthounds. Sighthounds are a subgroup of the AKC hound group. Sighthounds look generally like greyhounds. They're shaped like that dog you see painted on the side of the bus when you're driving down the highway. That's a greyhound. And many breeds are struck from that greyhound template, and variations are worked on them based on the terrain they're going to work on and the prey that they're going to pursue. The Azawak is a dog that comes from the edge of the Sahara Desert. It worked chasing down gazelles, and so this is a very fast dog. This dog can catch up with a gazelle. This dog maybe can move 35, 40 miles an hour.
They're very impressive, and I'm sure we're going to have a lot of people excited, always exciting to see a new breed in
Yes,
there.
yes.
Laura is asking our first question about this, and she says, what is the process for AKC to recognize a new breed? Great question. Do there have to be a certain number of dogs in that breed for it to happen?
That's certainly one of the specifications, yes. But I think one of the great misperceptions about the American Kennel Club is how do you go out and find new breeds? And the answer is the AKC doesn't go out looking for breeds, the breeds come looking for the American Kennel Club. When there's a club devoted to the breed in the United States, they can come to the American Kennel Club and say, we want in. We want to be part of your club of clubs, which is what the American Kennel Club is. And then the American Kennel Club has a long set of procedures and protocols that the breed club has to go through in order to eventually get into the AKC stud book.
How many years would you say that would take? Is there a timeline?
There's no formal set of years, but it tends to take years.
A while.
Yeah. They have to jump through a lot of hoops, these people, and they work very hard. And any breed club that can work that whole gamut, imagine going from rookie ball to the major leagues, you know.
That's what you're doing.
Yes,
yeah.
And you really are, and you're working your way up the ladder bit by bit, jumping through every hoop the American Kennel Club puts in front of you. By the time you get through that last hoop, you deserve a round of applause. You did a great job.
Well, we're going to give the Azawaks one. I mean,
Yes.
they really do. This is so exciting for them. For the Azawak and any other breed that gets recognized, this is really quite an honor.
Well, sure, it's the American Kennel Club. It's the big time. It's the major leagues. And now you're in the AKC family of breeds, and you can compete in the big dog shows, the AKC National Championship, Westminster, so on and so forth, out west at Santa Barbara and all the big shows that they have on the West Coast. This year, the Azawak will not be appearing in Westminster. They just weren't in the stud book long enough to qualify for this period. But in 2020, the Azawak will make its Westminster debut. Yes.
Very exciting. For Westminster, since we touched on that subject, a lot of people don't know what that is. Can you give us a run through of Westminster?
The Westminster Kennel Club is the AKC's oldest member club. As I said before, the AKC is a club of clubs. And the Westminster Kennel Club, I believe, was founded in 1877. And Gail Miller Beischer, if you're watching and I got that wrong, I'm very sorry.
We won't hold you to it. That's all right.
But they've been around a long time. They were around before the American Kennel Club, actually. So it is New York City's hometown dog show, and it's a major prestigious show held at Madison Square Garden. The great dogs from all over the country are there, the great dog people. All of the AKC contingent is always there at Westminster. It's on television, and it's usually the centerpiece of a wonderful party February week in the dead of winter when it's really cold.
When we need something to
and
look
you
forward
really
to.
need a party. Here comes Westminster rolling into town with all of its hoopla and glitz and glamour and drama, and it's just what the doctor ordered in February.
All right. Well, Jay is wondering if there is a favorite dog to win at Westminster this year. Michelle, do you know?
Oh, sure.
There is, yeah.
Yes.
Go ahead.
No.
No?
No.
No, we can't talk?
I'm the editor of the American Kennel Club Gazette, and I cannot be seen
All
to be
right,
taking
you heard it
sides
here.
in these
Bud's
things.
not going to
But
budge on that one.
there's more than enough scuttlebutt on the internet to keep you
You could
interested
research
until,
away and find it.
Of course, of course. Yes, but you're not going to catch me in that trap.
All right,
Yeah.
but we tried. You tried, Jay. All right, well, Bud, next we want to talk about In the Doghouse, your show. Tell us what you have coming up, what we can expect in this next episode.
The next installment of In the Doghouse with Bud Boccone is about a collection of dog-headed walking sticks. The American Kennel Club has been charged with maintaining some very interesting collections of art, artifacts, archival materials, but this is the one that everybody loves more than any other. Just these amazingly carved heads, carved out of ivory, out of brass, out of mother of pearl, out of every possible substance, from Asia through Europe, through the British Isles to America. It's like a little United Nations of dog heads when you see it. You know, you can tell what the Asian influence is and what the French influence is and so forth. It's a nice little art lesson. It's a nice little history lesson, but it just is a heck of a lot of fun to look at. Everybody who comes to AKC offices wants to look at the dog-headed walking sticks.
I know, I've had people ask me about it, and I got a chance to see a little bit of your piece in
Okay.
your episode, so we want to show everybody what that's going to look like. Give them a sneak peek.
Long before there was Instagram, there was always a place for dogs wearing funny hats. People always have loved this gag. Again, beautifully carved, a floral pattern here at the bottom. It's a lovely, heavy walking stick. Here's an interesting piece for a couple of reasons. The first is that the breed, it's a Dog de Bordeaux, a French Mastiff type breed, and we don't see representations of it too much here in the United States. But the real beautiful thing about this particular stick is that it's all been carved out of a single piece of wood, from the top of the dog's head all the way down to the tip.
I love that. Even getting a little bit of a sneak peek just shows you how much there is to see in this episode.
Right.
And where will people be able to see this? This is airing tomorrow at noon, your
That's
episode
right.
on AKC TV.
That's exactly right. Yes, yes, yes. And just part of that In the Doghouse series where we're rummaging around the attic of the American Kennel Club to see what we can show people. It's just cool stuff held up in front of a camera.
It really is. Kay is wondering, she says she loves your doghouse pieces, by the way. She said, could you tell me if you have any favorite dog stories from literature, fiction or nonfiction, which readers would enjoy?
I think the most moving story about a dog in literature is the story of Argus that goes back to the Iliad, or excuse me, the Odyssey. The story of Odysseus coming home after 20 years and his beautiful hound, which might have looked a lot like an Aswak, by the way. It's an ancient breed, just like the kind that Odysseus would have had. And the narration of how the dog stayed alive for 20 years just to receive his master again while he was away fighting the Trojan War. And then once Odysseus comes back and the dog recognizes him, spoiler alert, the dog dies. Well, you had 3,000 years to kill that spoiler. But I'm a student of ancient history, and those very early references to dogs in literature fascinates me because it does give us a sense of how long the two species have been partners here on Earth. That you can go all the way back to Homer, and there's still a beautiful, sentimental dog story in the middle of the Odyssey. It's really kind of profound about how long our love affair with the dog has been going on.
Now, this literature, will we be able to find that at the Museum of the Dog?
The Museum of the Dog has a wonderful idea. They've opened up a satellite library broken off from the major AKC library, which is about 16,000 volumes. They've set up a library of breed books, a lovely library space that will double as an educational center for kids. And if you're walking around the library and you see a picture of a dog that you're not familiar with, a breed that you've never heard of, you can stroll right over to the library area, pull the breed book. It's all breed books. It's all books about individual breeds so that you can match a breed that you might have seen with the proper book on the subject while you're still there in the museum. You know, you ever at a museum and you say, gee, I'd love to look that up sometime. I'd love to look into that.
And ask and you shall receive.
And
there
here,
it is.
There's a beautiful satellite library from the famous AKC library collection, which is probably the best dog book collection in the United States.
Very excited to see that. And that's
Yes.
February 8th, the museum is opening.
February 8th, if the creek don't rise, we're going to be there, and it'll be Westminster weekend, and it'll be the opening night party for the museum all the way through
You
to
will be
Tuesday.
busy, we know that.
And in a very good way.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, Allison says she was just at Renwick. It looked onto a white screen of dogs walking by. She's
yes.
wondering what that is.
That's a real nice teaser. The museum is not open yet, but the animated signage outside of the museum has been up and running for quite some time. And it was explained to me when they were first building the place, and I said, yeah, that sounds all right, whatever, you know. But to actually see it, it's fascinating. It's the silhouettes of dogs walking across 101 Park Avenue's first story there, and you can see them. And it's
Catches an eye.
it's really eye-catching, and it's video, but it looks, you'd swear it was real dogs running around through the top of the building somehow. And it's been stopping traffic. People have been whipping out their cameras and getting video of it and putting it all over their social media. It turned out to be a real, as great as all this press has been for the museum this week, I think one of the great drawing cards for the museum will ultimately be that sign.
Really generates a lot of buzz.
It really does, and a lot of foot traffic from the street, which is what we have in New York City and what we didn't have in St. Louis, is foot traffic right off of the street, off of one of the busiest streets on earth.
And I feel like that's what we really want, is just to get people who maybe haven't heard of the museum or have heard of it but haven't been yet. We want them to get that experience.
I would feel so good for these artists, who some of them who go back 200 years, who are great artists who are known in the dog world but not known in the greater world of art or in the greater world of craft. The idea that these artists will now be presented to people who normally never would have seen them and maybe make some converts out of those people, that's a great thing.
Well, you do have a comment from Christina. She says, thank you for keeping the Gazette going. I do miss the physical magazine, but I enjoy the digital edition. Had it not been for the August 1997 issue landing in my mailbox, I might not have fallen in love with the Canaan dog.
Yes, we get that story a lot. We do, and thank you so much for writing that in and saying that. That's exactly what keeps
nice
us.
to know people they value your work.
And that there's a long tradition of the Gazette goes back to 1889. So families, the Gazette runs through families. This is something that 3-4 generations of a family will have read. And in the old days, it was a gigantic big paper magazine that weighed 3 pounds that came to your door, and now you're reading it like this. But it's still the same thing. It's still the same ethos. It's still the same message. It's still the AKC Gazette. The delivery mechanism is different, and I'm glad that she's able to see that.
She'll still see it. We're just changing with the times. That's it.
It's wonderful. Links, videos,
Yeah.
slideshows, all sorts of bells and whistles. It's so much fun to be in digital media. Everybody loves it. It's just the way it is.
All right, next question. Chris is wondering, are reproduction of art featuring dogs available at the museum, specifically standard poodles?
There are some. They started stocking the gift shop already. I have to tell you. I saw some very nice poodle jewelry in the gift shop, in the case, And I was saying, gee, who could I give that to? It's 2 or 3 of the most beautiful poodle pins, kind of retro-looking pins that I've seen in a long time. So yeah, there is a fully stocked gift shop, most certainly. And
sounds like that might be the big hit of the museum here for our New York City shoppers.
Yes. Oh no. It's a wonderful place to stop and pick up a little souvenir for a dog lover in your life who maybe is not making the trip with you, and you could take back home and say, hey, I was in the AKC Museum of the Dog.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Bud. I know we had a lot to talk about here for 2019. So happy to have you with us as usual.
I can't wait to see you again.
Yes, sounds good. I'm sure we'll see you in February. A lot going on.
Yes. I'll see you at Meet and Compete.
Sounds good. Thanks,
right.
Bud. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. I'm Marissa Sarback. Be sure to download AKC TV on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter as well. AKC TV, sit, stay, watch. We leave you with our Good Dog Moment of the Week. Send us your Good Dog Moment to akc.tv/submit.